what if our equipment worked every time we wanted it to? Hello and welcome to Mouse House Plus. I am Hank.
And I am hoping that my equipment continues to work.
So we are back at you, my friends. Mouse House Plus, episode 31, covering What If, season 1 premiere episode. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, let's jump right into it. Space is a prism of infinite possibilities. It was a pretty cool intro. I'll give him that.
Yeah, no, it was the narration. I mean, I'm actually surprised that they didn't have more of the Watcher's narration throughout the episode. It would have been nice.
You're right. Not just bookending pretty much the episode. June 1943. We get the Captain America story, essentially. And then in our new story, Peggy Carter stays in the room as Steve Rogers is getting ready to get infused with super soldier serum, but a man triggers an explosion. And he shoots Steve. Did you think Steve was going to die when he shot him? I thought he was.
Yep, I thought he was too.
Because he's so little.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, maybe it went right through him.
It wouldn't take much.
Yep.
I was like, oh, like he shot him right in the chest, it looked like.
Yeah.
So I was like, he's dead. But the person also shoots another guy, and then Peggy shoots him as Colonel Flynn asks Howard to get into the machine. And Stark's like, no, not my gig, dude. I don't do that. I'm out here the button pressing.
Yeah, he's like, I just pushed the buttons. and I love how that comes back around later on.
Yes. And so Peggy jumps inside, and Colonel Flynn is disappointed that Peggy has the serum in her. He basically says it's a waste or whatever. And I personally, for me, throughout this episode, they wrote him so misogynistic, like so over the top that it was goofy to me.
Well, to me, I didn't actually care for this character because he was not as close to Tommy Lee Jones as everybody else was close to their portrayal of their character. It's like they just made a whole new character and stuck him in there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, good point. We also have a Bucky mention, and then Peggy and Steve flirting like from the very start. I was like, okay, all right.
Hey, I mean, I guess after a life-changing event, as in being shot, you stop having that fear.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They discuss Hydra being in Norway. The Red Skull has obtained the Tesseract, but Flynn won't let them go in. And you already knew that Howard and Peggy were going to go anyway. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, that's what Peggy Carter does on her own series that she had. She always disobeyed orders. Always.
Now, this is where I had an issue with the episode, in honest, because this is like, I know that I mentioned this to you before, and I feel that I should have done the homework myself. It's been a really busy week, but I really should have gone back and watched Captain America: First Avenger and actually look at the comparisons, because they come out and they're like, oh, we got this energy spike over here. And then they're like, they're in this town. Blump, and they put down a book. And then they're like, and we believe it's this item. Blump, and they put down a book, and it's the Tesseract. And I'm like, I don't remember that information right off the bat in the movie like that. I mean, they basically just solved the entire plot of the movie in the first couple, moments of the thing. And basically they just jump and they get it. So I just thought it was, I'm like, wait a second, but what did they do there? I mean, was it because that it was Peggy? Because Peggy's on top of everything. We know that. Peggy Carter, she is a force to be reckoned with, so it would make sense that she would figure this stuff out very quickly. Now, when we look at Captain America, and this is where I wanted to see the comparison, is that we know that Steve Rogers is kind of heading this, and he's not thinking this because he was never at all had to deal with Hydra before, so he doesn't know. So I don't know why she didn't interject anything there, or she wasn't there, because I just don't remember. So if anyone wants to leave us feedback and let me know what I'm missing in that part there, please, because I'm kind of at a loss at the moment. I feel that we were force-fed information too quickly, of information that we didn't have in the movie at all.
See, and I'm going to go the other direction. Like, I didn't want this to be an essential beat for beat, just flipping characters. I mean, they made some changes. We'll get to that, but I really thought that when they did a what if, they were going to really do a what if and turn everything you thought you knew on its head. So we'll get to it in a little bit more. But.
Well, I mean, there are so I loved all the what ifs. I had plenty of them, and a lot of them do end up being pretty darn close. It's just that then there are different spins on things. So, in this one, clearly, Stark's already advanced stuff, and and some things come to a close a little bit quicker, but it's not. It's not necessarily always different, but then you have something like Marvel Zombies has come up, and that whole world is completely screwed up. So I don't know, it can kind of go all over the place.
Peggy is able to flip vehicles and wreck soldiers. A big German soldier gets served, and then Peggy dresses down the colonel and gives Stark the Tesseract, and Howard is making something for Steve, and it had already been given away in the previews.
So I got two things here. First off, I do like that whenever she flips it, she's like, "That's what I just did," and then she's like, "I'm gonna do it again." So that was fun, with her experiencing the ability to do all this for the first time. But this is one of the things that I have to give, the character that is Stark credit. Yes, I understand it's cartoon, so they can do pretty much whatever they want. But basically, they're just showing how superior Stark is to the Red Skull and the entire Hydra organization, because he completely weaponizes the Tesseract in like a night. Like it's like he's got the lightning guns. It's like completely powered suit. Like the Red Skull, like he gets all this stuff done in sections, and eventually has these weapons. But Stark's like, there you go, mass produced, out the door. Go ahead, rock it. So, and if anything, that's the reason why when we get towards the end, I'm like, why aren't they dissecting that thing? Because clearly that's probably more important than what they're doing over here.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of peculiar stuff, I would say. Mm-hmm. Peggy and Steve, they flirt some more. But on a mission, Peggy steals a motorcycle and jumps it through the tower. And I was like, come on now.
Hold on. This is what he did this in the movie, but we never saw how he got that bike.
Right. But
he just shows up on the bike. This is fun because this was like, okay, maybe this is how he got the bike too. Did he run up on him and then punch him in the face?
But what was ridiculous about it in the movie is what's ridiculous about it in this. Like that's a sliver of cement to opening in the cement to get that through. It's just kind of silly.
Well, I mean, I will point out we're trying to make a serious approach of a comic book movie.
That's true. It never works. Who are you, Captain Carter?
All right, one of my next issues with this, I have to point out that I did not like any of Dum Dugan's like follow-ups on things. Like it's like for whatever reason I'm like, these aren't funny.
No.
Like this makes him look dumb. Yeah, I realize that. Like it makes him look stupid, and he wasn't like that in the movies. Like he had some clever ones, but like these, like he didn't need to say something every single time she did something.
Right. And in the movies he hits because that actor is really good.
Yeah.
And on this, he did not. He was a absolute dud.
Yep. Did they use the same actor for the voice acting of that?
I thought I saw his name on there.
Okay.
I'll have to look it up as we go. But I thought I saw his name in there. Because they used a lot of the people that are actually the actors, which I was like, wow, impressive.
Well, I would have been upset. They should have basically said, "Come on, my character isn't this ridiculous."
And I'm going to get to that too because I have that same feeling. In the thick of it, the Hydra Stomper shows up. That is the goofiest, corniest name of all time, but it's funny.
Yeah, but it is a pretty wild introduction, and it's basically you're like, oh, look at that. See, even Stark's dad had the idea of something down the road. But that's what I'm saying is he gets in that thing and it's weaponized. So we basically took she got back, told him I'm going to be a captain, gave the Tesseract to Stark. Stark's like, yeah, I got something for this, and then she's got a full working a suit that shoots lightning in like days.
Right.
Or depending on how you look at it, because to me it looked like she got back the next morning with it, and then they were already planning to leave the following night.
All right.
So, like, I mean, it was like, okay, well, I mean, he just like, done. Here you go, guys. Works.
So we have the montage of Captain Carter destroying German forces, and then I'll call him Red Skull throughout this. I don't care what he's looking like at the current moment, but I call him the Red Skull at all times. He calls himself a god and says his champion will be summoned from beyond the stars, the true birth of Hydra. And I'm like, this dude has lost his mind. And you could tell he wasn't the same voice as the original. It didn't sound like this.
Yes, that was not Hugo Weaving.
Because I love Hugo Weaving, and unfortunately, he didn't actually read the script before he took the part, which happens in Hollywood, apparently, I guess.
Now let's do some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. throwback here. So, were you thinking that this was Hydra from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Series? Like they're going to bring back the
Kaminsky
person creature?
I thought it was going to be Hive. Yes,
Hive. Sorry, Hive. Yes, yep. Hive.
I thought it was going to be Hive. You are 100% correct on that assumption, because I was like,
so yes. Well, hold on. See, because if they did that, they'd have to recognize the Inhumans still, and they were trying to skirt that.
No, we will not name them. That name is forbidden.
The unforbidden name.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. That's good stuff. Steve is asking Peggy 20 questions, and then when Howard jump scare, I know it's a freaking cartoon, dude, but give me a warning next time. That honestly, like, I was like, that jump scare got me. I'm not gonna lie. Did it get you?
Oh wait, he's at the window?
Yes.
Okay, how they drew that, perfect. That is stark. They got that down. I was like, oh no, continue. Oh, we're gonna be a second. I was like, yep, that they couldn't have made him any better.
Then I wrote in my notes, now we come to the Bucky fall train scene. That's what I thought it was gonna be. And when he makes that reference of, you almost ripped off my arm, I was like, over the top, dude. Come on, over the top. Mm-hmm. You can do better. You can be better than that. So did you garner anything from Operation Where Eagles Dare? Was that what it was called in the movie? Okay.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get that. And I mean, I watched it a couple times. I still didn't get that.
Okay. Steve finds the bombs right before they explode, and then Steve is lost, and I was like, maybe he's going to become the Winter Soldier. You know, I kind of got excited.
See, I did too, but hold on. But I was like, Zola wasn't there. Zola's been captured already. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, because he's the one who finds Bucky. So what was going to happen there?
True. Good point.
So, but yeah, no, whenever it was gone, I was like, oh man, I thought the thing was indestructible. And then we roll right into the next scene where they're like, you said it was indestructible. And he's like, it is. At least it was.
Oh my goodness! So that was a good misdirect too, because I was not expecting that.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, there you go. See, if they're following the movie, but by this time in the movie, they're like, forget this. We know that they're going to be coming for this, so let's just load this up with explosives. Where in the movie, that they had soldiers and everything on it, and so there you go. There's your little bit of differences, but So then the next scene is what? She goes and she interrogates Zola then, right?
Yes. So Arnim Zola says, I'm not going to tell you anything. And then he told me everything. I was like, that is him to a T, man. That dude is a worm, to say it the least.
Yes.
So now Peggy knows Red Skull's plan and shuts Flynn down when he suggests the Hydra Stomper was the only way to stop Hydra.
And she got to throw that line out there being like, you're lucky to even be here.
Yes, you're lucky to be in the room.
See,
Like,
and you know what? And I was like, okay, I get what she's going at there, but that really didn't make much sense because if they actually showed him being invited into the room, then that would make a little more sense. I know that she was just saying that to slight him, which I mean, which is fine. I get it, it's fine, but I don't know. I think that it's instead of using the exact same words that he used on her, if he was like, even being here, like I said, I think probably would have made more sense. But whatever.
yes, I agree with you.
I'm just being nitpicky.
Peggy and the Howling Commandos, they breach the castle. Red Skull puts the Tesseract in a device as Bucky locates Steve.
Oh, and Dum Dum says something dumb.
Always.
Yep.
A shield is not a plan. I love that line. I love that line. It can be.
Yes.
Now, the champion of Hydra and my ultimate disappointment as it kills Red Skull. Didn't it just pop him like a grape?
It sure did.
I mean, which is okay, but... okay, I guess just different.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that I'm trying to figure out who the champion of Hydra was or is or whatever. I mean, it's, what are we saying? This is a Cthulhu? I mean, I don't think that's the case, but if you're going off of like some of like the Hellboy series, I mean, they've got a lot more creatures out there that are kind of like this, but, it's... Of course, their Hydra's champion is a giant octopus thing of some sort. But, give us a little bit more, idea. So, I mean, if it was Hive, then that would have been fine, but Hive was never that big.
No, not at all. And I was like, well, is this a literal Hydra from space or something? But
yeah, but that a Hydra is a dragon with multiple heads, not an octopus.
And it's goofy. Like the way they animated this and drew this, I was like, I wasn't really a fan.
Oh, actually, you know what? I found myself staring more at the characters' mouths because I thought the animation was very. It was chosen. It was a very interesting way of doing it because it gave me more of a comic book feel. In fact, my one what if that I had, which was what if the Age of Apocalypse never ended? Like the drawings in that were almost the same as this TV show, which I kind of admired. So I was really focusing on lip movement and syncing with words. And I mean, it wasn't like 100%, but I'll say it was a good probably 75%.
No, when I said that, I was talking about just that monster.
Oh, the monster?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it. Of course, there's always going to be some scene in there that they got to CGI the bejesus out of. So,
being a genius is Howard's thing. I love that. I love how smug he is. Just like on the TV series, he was great.
Oh, we completely missed this. That's right. When he's like, oh, you're going to come with us. He's like, oh, I can't come with you. He's like, oh, no. He's like, there might be some buttons for you to push. And of course, there are buttons for him to push.
Calamari is on the menu. And then this is what this is where this falls apart for me. Peggy tries to push the monster back through as Steve says she owes him a dance lesson. I absolutely did not like this direction.
I mean,
you want me to save it for the very end because it kind of ties into that ending.
Sure, that's fine.
Sorry, gotta make a note. All right, so a portal opens as Peggy and chunks of Hydra, or I call it Hydra, but of that monster come out. When Nick Fury says, "Ma'am, please put down the sword." And Hawkeye is like a fanboy and he notices that's Captain Carter. And then when she asks about Steve, she's informed the war ended almost 70 years ago. You can tell me if I'm steering wrong, and please at home, you can tell me. You can email us at feedback@tpenetwork.com or leave a voice message at tpenetwork.com/feedback. But here's what I think they did wrong with this episode. I went into this thinking that they were going to do a what if Peggy Carter were taking the super soldier serum in the sense of it being all different, because Peggy Carter thinks differently than all of these other characters. She is very fast with planning. She always has really good strategies. She's not relying. I know she has the superhero soldier serum, but she's not used to relying on strength and stuff. So I would have loved it if they would have just kept her written super above intelligence and planning. Like, she's not going to be like, I'm going to push this thing back through. That's something Steve would do, in my opinion. I felt like they could have done a better episode had she wrapped this up in a different manner and made the dance, instead of, they'll probably try and shoehorn that in later, like they did in the movies. But if she makes the dance, and she could be like, she could have winked at the camera and been like, a woman always keeps her date or her promise or something, something to say where Steve got it wrong because he tried to do things this way. She figured out a plan to get the objective done and still makes their meetup. I would have loved that.
And you know what? Okay, I am going to agree that I like that. I'm going to disagree that for the decision making that she made, because it wasn't really her decision. But I like your ending a lot better than what happened.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that that's out there. But she didn't do that on her own. Stark was the one that said that creature is holding the gate open, and then she was like, okay, well then I will get the creature through the gate so it can be closed.
Okay, I get it. But
so I mean,
it
wasn't like she was like, I'm just gonna brute strength you in there. It was clearly because that was the only resolution of being able is either pull it out or push it in.
Yeah.
Although I did like the entire, the portal opens up and all these bits and pieces. So here's my question: is that how long has she been in there fighting this thing? Has it been just like, is time completely different there, and they've just been there for a little bit and then they came out? Because that's what it seems like.
It's like Loki series.
Yeah.
Like, time passes differently here.
Well, yeah. And also, it can get rewritten pretty easily.
And I almost wanted to rewrite this one because of that. So do you want to go into ratings before we talk about it a little more?
Yes.
Do you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Yeah, you go first, because I'll be honest, I'm not even really sure what I want to do yet. So
I feel like they took a character I absolutely love, and they kind of just, I don't know, I think they failed the character. That's just my opinion. I think they failed that character. I would have loved to seen my ending, obviously, for more reasons than one. And I would have liked to seen some different beats instead of, now this is just the same beat. And I hope they don't do this for every one of them, where it's the exact same beat, but now it's so-and-so as Star-Lord instead of Star-Lord, but it's the same pathing. And I really hope they don't do that. That's just me. So
I mean,
I blame this on the writers.
I mean, and I'd have to agree, because they would really have to do a lot of twisting and turning, because clearly even in the introduction to this whole thing, there are countless possibilities of what could have happened. So they showed us one that really didn't end the way that we were hoping it would end. So
right.
I'm not. I don't know. I agree with you. Like, if you're going to do this, and why not make it an ending that completely differed from the other one? Not necessarily just, we swapped people around,
right.
but like, you're right, a happy ending, or more or less a happy ending.
She gets it right where he couldn't have got, where he didn't get it right. I would have loved that. So I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. What are you giving it?
I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7, because
that's what I was going to go.
It's good, but I mean, there is, like, when Stark comes up and basically just goes blop and puts all her stuff down and says, "Here, I changed your suit for you." Okay, why did he decide on that shield? Because the only way that we know that shield got introduced is because that it got kicked by Steve Rogers when they were going over other shields. And the only reason why he had a shield is because he took his show prop shield with him to that battle. And they're like, oh, well, it's a thing now, so you got to do it. She didn't have that as a thing. So, and I mean, the outfit, yes, I can get the outfit because they are prepping her to do all the goofy stuff that he was doing. Maybe that might have been the difference right there, is that in the movie, he jumped right into the, trying to raise the war bonds, where she was like, no, we're going to go right into this.
Into action, yeah.
Yeah, so it cut down the time of everything being prepped. But yeah, Stark coming up with the suit, with her suit, sorry, you're done, here you go. Stark basically going, and you're seeing him welding the foot of the other suit, which means that he had the darn thing built already.
Right.
Waiting for a power source that just so happened would be the same size as a Tesseract.
MacGuffin.
Yeah. So, I get it. They're trying to make it all fun and everything. But, if you're trying to mirror it off of something that we've already seen, then you got to work out some of these details or give a little bit better explanation. Because I find it really hard to believe that he was already in the process of building something, and then we never saw that at all in the movie, because up until that point, really not too much had changed. And then from when she gets injected to where he has the suit is what, maybe a week? Maybe that. And so, that means that he had that built beforehand, which means that in the movie that existed as well. So, I mean, it's kind that the stuff that Stark was doing is a little far-fetched, but the way that Stark acted was 100% Stark.
Yeah.
So
we have a piece of feedback from Elizabeth. Hi, Hank and John. I loved this episode and want it to be a full-length movie. I was hoping the Tesseract would bring Loki from Asgard instead of a giant squid. Thanks, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you for sending that in. Now, that would have been a nice twist.
No, have Loki show up with the TVA jacket on, too. People like...
I would have fell out of the chair, but the writers said that they were doing this before Loki was written. The series was written.
Well, I mean, shoot, probably have a comic. It probably is a comic book. They probably just went like, all right, they bring out their stack of comic books. We're like, all right, let's see the what ifs that we want to do. This one looks good.
This one's close enough.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, Elizabeth, for sending that in. I'm so glad that you thoroughly enjoyed it. I just felt like my fandom with the live action. You and Alex know, John, that I am Peggy Carter, Melinda May. I put them on a high pedestal, and I expect them writers to really, really get it and get those characters and make them what I think them to be, which is just so many steps ahead of these other characters on the series. Mm-hmm. So that's where my disappointment comes from, is the writers let this down, in my opinion. But you can say, Hank, you're all wrong. You can email us, feedback@tpenetwork.com. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up, John?
No, not too much. I want to thank everyone who stepped in while I was on vacation, and that was is really good that we didn't have a drop off for while I was out, but I needed the break, and yeah. Besides that, no, I mean we're rolling into all kinds of stuff that's about to come up, and I mean they're releasing more and more information. Hey, did you see that they're basically already stating that Scarlet Witch is now the most powerful thing in the MCU? Yeah. So.
And they said Shang-Chi is going to come out on Disney Plus 45 days after theatrical release.
Which I guess they've learned their lesson with Scarlett Johansson, and then she has completely cut all ties with Disney. So of course it's family drama.
But Hawkeye is still slated for this year. Mm-hmm. However, I'm hearing from sources that Spider-Man: Far From Home will not make its December release.
Did you see the toys release that they had for that, where they are showing that Spider-Man's new outfit is black with gold trim, and then as he's shooting his webs, you know, I remember how it had that like kind of like laser projected like web like it's magic now. It's a magic circle, and it's got all the connecting parts on the outside, and then the inside is Spider-Man's web. I'll have to find it and I'll send it to you. But yeah, I mean, apparently Spider-Man's gonna do magic.
Okay, show up at birthday parties too, like Iron Man.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot going on, and so after this series, hopefully we'll roll right into Hawkeye. I'm excited. Yep. All right, thank you so much, John, for carving out the time. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, it's not a problem, man.
All right. Well, for John, I'm Hank. Until the next time, we're signing off.
Bye, everybody.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else like it.